sometimes you can't get used to it. It is what it is, you know. The city is an ever-changing place. New York will continue to grow. It's the nature of cities to do that, successful cities. If this city, New York, stops growing, forget it. We're all in big trouble. Then the question is, how do you plan? How do you make it work in a way that's congruent with neighborhood needs as well as what the city and all of us who live and work here need to have it come together in a positive way. That said, it is interesting because the broad face is actually less broad. If the master plan had been laid out in a way that even some of the buildings on the island here, most of which follow the spine line, which I think is what you were referring to way back from the late 60s when the first master plans were laid out. To some degree, I think that my observation of the master plan, and you should also know, or you probably do, I inherited this. I didn't lay it out. I wasn't involved in the design process. We're working within a very particular confine, as you know. And so that footprint, I can't just make it broader and lower. There's no place to go unless you want to cantilever out over the road or something like that, which I'm sure nobody would like that idea. Exactly. But what's interesting is that by the master plan actually trying to reflect that axial condition of the island and the high spine of the island, if you will, of sort of the hump, the upside down boat vessel. I think it's interesting to the degree that the towers can at least try to respond to that and open up. It's much better that they're not like this, but that they're like that. The door opens up, the window to the bridge, from the north to the south and vice versa. I think is a positive feature of what they've tried to do in the master plan. I can't comment on whether it's better to have higher buildings near the bridge and lower buildings in the middle and open space, or reverse the whole thing. There's, I think, two sides of that coin, the pros and cons in either direction. So the goal on our part was to further try to mitigate the wall effect of the building in two ways. One, to add some facets and elements to a building that is also striving for a whole other level of performance. And to make this high-performance building, you actually can't add more and more open edges and sharp angles and things like that, because it lowers the energy performance of the building. Actually, it's like a sphere or a cylinder, the most efficient sort of forms for making a high-performance envelope, like a thermos you drink coffee out of. So this is stretched out, but at the same time, we're still trying to give it shape and form. And that goal of trying to add the facets to the east, really the northeast end of the building, was to further sort of try to find ways to attenuate what started out as a box. That was the form that we inherited, and through the design process with Cornell, with the developer, and I'm sure the city, the PDC, will have a big say in exactly what's going on in that regard. We've tried our best to sort of help bring down the scale, also to reflect that sense of the mound or the ridge of the island at the top of the building too. So it's very explicitly the high point of our parapet, which is hiding the mechanical equipment, is at the center line, not at the outer edge. If you imagine reversing it, it would have been more shock and awe, I think, if the high point was to the outer edge. And that's the nature of this island, is sort of the build-up, at least in certain parts of the development of Roosevelt Island over the last 5 decades. It's sort of a build-up to the center, not all to the periphery. So that's just my observation on some of the comments.
I think the vote is not atypical of the sense of the island itself. So I think in that sense, it does reflect thought on the island. And, the board will decide. It's fortunate that the land use committee meeting is not till the 15th. So
14th.
14th. When, whatever that Wednesday is.
Are any of you on the land use committee?
The board, the land use committee, so we do have some time to craft something that will really lay out what went on here and what we thought, which will certainly be better than what happened the last time, because it was basically just a resolution, we can lay out, everybody's opinion, and I don't have a problem with that, we do have some time.
Sure, nothing but time.
Having said that, if there's nothing else to say, we have adopted this resolution.